Hello everybody, good day to you. Welcome back. Glad you guys are here. What do we got going on outside? Looks like an Audi or a Jaguar or something being delivered on a tow truck. Interesting. Anyway, that's no affair of mine. I'm going over here back to our 2008 Honda Civic 1.3 liter hybrid 4-cylinder with 8 spark plugs. We're on video numeral dos on this particular hybrid Honda. We're gonna go ahead and pull these front wheels off, inspect the brakes. We're gonna pull the rear wheels off, inspect the brakes. If you recall from the first video, which the link is down in this video's description, you will find that this car was at a Honda dealership recently, and they said something about needing some front brakes, so we're gonna follow up on that also. Like I said, we're gonna check the rears, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, because this is gonna be a very good video. Opening the hood. Now we're gonna start this off right with some pry bar action. Yes, that's right. We need a pry bar to do a brake inspection. Now, why do we need pry bar, you may ask? To remove the hubcap. That is all. Oh look, got the wheel lock.
The door locks.
And I have a wheel lock key. Let's get this thing apart. Let's see what we've got in here. Come here. All right, drum. What do you got going on inside of there? Well, that was easy. Came loose right away. All right, drum brakes. Got a bit of brake dust in there, see that? That's gonna make some noise. How are our shoes looking? Pretty good. Plenty of friction material here. We're just gonna do a clean and adjust on these rears. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward, and we'll pull the front wheels off and check those guys next. Pry bar coming in, got the wheel lock key in hand, ready to rock and roll. There we go. Okay, front brakes. What do we got going on here? Oh my goodness. I see some hot spots on the rotors. And moving in for the close-up on these front pads, what do we have in here? Looks like we've got some pretty worn out front brake pads. You guys see that? There's the backing plate on the front pad. There it is. There's the backing plate. And right that area behind it, that's our friction material. That's no bueno. Yeah, these fronts are worn out. 2 or 3 millimeters tops. Okay, so I'm going to recommend that we do front pads. Now the dealership did say something about resurfacing these rotors. My lathe is not yet operational, so I'm not going to be able to offer a resurface, but I can replace these at relatively the same cost, so it's really of no matter. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to replace the front pads and the rotors, do a clean adjust in the rear drums, and we should be good to go at that point. Let's go ahead and get the impact driver out for these set screws right here in the rotor. We'll get the caliper off, we'll get the bracket off, and we'll get started. Alrighty, so tow truck's quieted down. Let's get this thing turned a little bit, and we'll begin the disassembly. We're gonna pull the slide pins out of the caliper, unclickage, set these guys aside. There we go. All right, so my caliper hanging hooks are in use somewhere else. So we're just gonna hang these calipers with a zip tie. That way they don't fall down and they will not be in the way. So I will run a zip tie through that bolt hole right there. And then we can just zip tie this thing to one of the coil springs up top. And it'll be out of the way, and then it won't fall. There we go. I almost dropped it just then. There, you stay right there. Okay, looking down at our pads. Let's get these little spreader springs out of the way. These are our noise reduction device right here. Pull out our first pad. Wiggle it some. Yeah, look at that. Paper thin. Those are Dunzo. All right, around on the back side again, we've got a 17 mil on the impact. Those came out nicely. That's our bracket. Okie doke, so I decided to glove up some because I was getting absolutely filthy with brake dust. And that stuff's hard to clean off, so it's time for the latex. All right, back to business. Let's get this thing straight again. Let's pull our set screws out. Now I have here, rather than using an impact driver, I've got an air hammer. Check this out. It's pneumatically powered. It's got this little device on the end of it with a bit. And what I'm going to do is apply some light impacts and then push down on the lever, and it's going to rotate. It's going to rotate that screw right out without stripping it off. You usually can't get these out with just a screwdriver. There we go. Just like that. Easy peasy with the right tools. And now I can use a screwdriver. I'm going to save these for later. They'll be reused on the new units. I mean, some people don't reuse them, but the way I see it, they're there, so why not? Let's pop this guy off. Oh yeah, there's a bit of wear on this inside. I can feel quite a bit of a lip right here. That's good. Okay, time for a little bit of surface prep. Go in here and polish off some of this rust real quick. It's not heavy, but there's no reason to not clean it off. Little crotch sprite wheel thing on the end of a drill. Just polish off any of that buildup. Nice and shiny. That's good enough. Any more is overkill. We're good. Alrighty, let's mosey on over to the driver's side and we will repeat procedure. I've already taken the liberty of pulling the wheels off when you guys weren't looking. Airline, roll cart, coming in. Let's get this thing in position here. There we go. Same procedure. Turn the wheel some, buzz the bolts out. Next, and I need zip ties again. Up here. I used 2 on the last one, and didn't need 2. 1 would have been sufficient. 1 would have been plenty sufficient. Come here. There we go. Zip tie complete. And again, we're gonna recover our springs. Pop these guys out. Come here. And the pads. These are super thin also. Not as thin as the other side, but they're down there regardless. Look, it's even right on the wear indicator. It's like right there, nanometers away. All right, back to the 17 mil. Unclickage that. Next. Thank you. Come here. Let's set this aside. Both of those caliper brackets need lubrication later on. Straighten that guy back up. And we'll pull the set screws. Easy. Look at that one. Booyah. Just like that. It's so simple. It beats having to drill these out and break them off with a chisel and pull them out with pliers and all that good stuff. Just unscrew it. And the rust belt guys are going Q-ray. And again, with the little polishing wheel, get rid of all that smooth nastiness in there. like never sees or some kind of a lubricant, feels like. Weird. No worries, we'll get rid of it. There. Nice and shiny. Okie dokes, let's move on over here a little bit and get the caliper slide pins re-lubricated and prepared for installation. I don't have my brake pads here just yet, so I don't have any of the hardware here just yet. So we're about to be in limbo after I set these pins up. But that is no matter, because we can go and do the clean and adjust on the rear drums while we wait. Come here, rubber thing. There we go, got it. I'm gonna wipe off all the old grease here. We don't need this. And then we can wipe on some new grease. We do need that. Here we go. Put that back in. Look, it holds air. Same thing on this one. 2 down, 2 to go. Pull the slide pin out. Yeah, look, that grease is hardened. It's not even like liquid anymore. Anyway, wipe that one down. Get all that old grease off. Throw some new stuff on there. Back in the hole you go. Oh, that was sloppy. There. Got it. I needed the towel for extra grips. And I missed some in my haste. There we go. Got it. All right. The hardware is still on these. I'll pop that off. We'll set that aside pending arrival of the replacement components, because the new pads will have new hardware, or it should. So we're done here. Let's go back, around back, and get to those rear drums. Moving on back. Whoop. Wiggle that guy right off of there. Same thing, bunch of brake dust in the drum, and the shoes look okay. All right. Alrighty, so in order to facilitate this clean and adjust, let's roll the oil drain pan in here. Then we plop the brake drum inside the pan and get on with the cleaning procedure. Make it nice and shiny. Just gonna go through, spray out all the brake dust, get behind the shoes. They're not empty yet. Brand new can. And everything that drips off down below, that's going to rinse out the drum. You know, we don't want to waste brake clean. That would be bad. Dunzo. All right, taking a looky-loo at our drum. Got most of the all that nasty rinsed out of there. Finish it off. Very good. Okay, now for the adjustment part, let's just give this like 1 or 2 clicks just to tighten it up some. We're gonna use the adjuster wheel right here that's inside of the spreader bar on these the two shoes here. So I'm gonna need like a flat bladed screwdriver or a spoon adjuster. And my spider senses tell me 3 clicks should be sufficient. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Let's go ahead and fit the drum on and see what it feels like. Come here, drum. I'm gonna line up these 2 holes here with the 2 marks that are on the hub. That feels great. Perfect, right on. Okay, let's move on over to the passenger side and repeat said procedure. And now that we've established the appropriate amount of clicks, I will just apply the 3 clicks right here from the get-go. 1, 2, that might have been 4. That'll do, we're good. Okay, oil drain coming in, brake drum coming in, Brake clean coming in. Rinse out all the nasty. It's like new. Yep, behind the shoe. Behind that shoe. It's getting low. Can I finish in one can? I don't know. No, I'm not gonna be enough. Nah. Yeah, that's not enough. Need more. One more final rinsing. And uno más in storage. There we go. Yeah, that last little bit was kind of sparse and it didn't get the rinse that I require. Not okay. Let's let this dry up a bit. Actually, real quick redo. This one's got some rust and stuff on it. The other side, not so much, but this side's got a little bit going on here. Just clean that off. There we go. And a little bit down here on the drum too. Whoa! Hey, drop that. Thanks, man. You got me, look at that. So anyway, let's get all this rust cleaned off. Troy, you're so observant, sir. What would I do without you? Missed a spot. Man, I'm not firing on all cylinders today. It's not working out. Dropping stuff, missing rust. Need a nap. There. Woohoo! That was easy, right? Okay, drum coming in. There's the witness mark for the bolt. There's the other one right there. There's my 2 bolts. It is in line. Well, it's reference to how it should have been, or how it came off, or how it should have come off. Unanimous. There we go, okay. So while I was over here trying to smash my foot with a brake drum, my parts arrived. So let's move back over here to the right front. Let's get this thing back in position and we can reinstall the new rotor and the new pads. So real quick, let us de-oil these rotors. These are a CarQuest rotor, not sponsored, that's just what I bought. Look at here. They come with this protective layer of oil so they don't rust. And I don't want oil in the brake pads. That would be bad. A little bit more shiny. Rinse it off, give it a wipe. That's why I put it on backwards at first. We'll flip it around, reference where the set screws go, here and here. Throw that guy back on, and while we're here, I'll go ahead and toss the 2 screws in. We'll wash this off and then go head over and put the shims on the caliper brackets. Now we don't have to impact these back in. Just make them hand tight and then they're good. For the next guy. Shininess complete. Okie dokes. Let us flip a 180 and go ahead and get these shims back on the caliper bracket. Get this debris out of here, we don't need that. Old shims, don't need those. Brackets, we do need you. There's the package of new hardware. It's all the replacement stuff. Let's get into that. Look at me, I'm stabbing these with a screwdriver and there's a knife sitting right here. Observant I am. I'm telling you, not right today. Misfiring on all cylinders. Come here. I think those are the same. Yep. So they just kind of slip in. And we've got to bend and press these little tangs in right here. That's what secures it. Push that down, like so. Same thing on the other side. And push the little tangs in. If you don't push the tangs that retain these in all the way, they can stick out and make contact with the rotor, and that would cause horrendous squeaking noises while driving. Then you get a comeback. That would be bad. I don't like comebacks. I mean, do-mores are okay, but comebacks, not so much. Try to minimize that. We also got replacement spreader springs. Another item that people do not like to put back, but again, it's a noise reduction device. Anyway, these are now re-shimmed. Let's go ahead and get them hung back on the knuckle and get the pad set up. All right, caliper bracket coming in. I've got both of the 17s that secure the bracket to the knuckle. We get those guys started right there. A couple impacting clicks. Give me back my socket. Tight. Now, when it comes to installing the replacement pads, I'm going to take a look at the old pads and see which ones go in which positions. For example, you can see this pad used to be the outboard pad that went right here. And we can tell, based on the marks here and here, which were the little fingers on the caliper here and here. So, what we've learned is that the outboard pad on this side does not have a wear indicator. See that little squealer tab right there? That's designed to contact the rotor when the pad wears down enough and it makes a squealy noise, letting the driver know that you need some brakes. So we have learned that this is not the pad. What we need is one that does not have any hardware on it whatsoever, which is going to be this one right here. So what we need to do is depress that clip and this clip, tab rather, as we rock this thing in, just like so. Oh, get in there. Oh, bottom slipped out. Do over. Try again. Almost. There we go. That's it. Another good reason to put your set screws back in is it stabilizes the rotor for when you're trying to maneuver parts together like that. Very good. Anyway, back to our OE inboard pad. Comparing that, gravity. Comparing that with the other inboard, and we can see that the squeal indicator is on the wrong side. So this is going to be the inboard pad for the driver's side. This one is our inboard pad for the passenger side. Here, let's maneuver around inside of here and see if we can't get a better view of this inboard going in. It's going to happen the same procedure as the outboard side, but with less space and less visibility and whatnot. I'll get it. We'll get it though. Snap, crackle, pop. That one's in. We'll get our retainer springs in position. There's holes in these new pads for the retainers, or for the spreader springs to fit. Get those guys in. And now we're almost prepared to get the caliper installed. Okie dokes. Let's cut down our caliper from the spring. Set that thing down right here, and we'll get in there with the caliper compressor and push that piston back in. It's a ratcheting tool that's threaded on both sides. There we go. Set that thing down in there just as if it were a set of pads. And we ratchet it. As the center turns, it pushes these two plates away, and that in turn pushes the piston back into its bore. Nice and easy and controlled. If you use things like big channel locks, you actually run the risk of chipping the face of that of the piston, and that could cause it to crack and break, and that would be bad. I mean, not always, it can be done, but if you've got the tool, it's just easier and it's faster, and there's less risk. So if you've got the tool, just use it. Or a C-clamp, those also work. All right, over here on the front side, we've got the two 12mm bolts. Let's get these guys started. And we'll torque those down. Some forward clicks. Oh, hit you guys again. Sorry. Alrighty. One is done. Let's go hit up that right front. We're good to go here. So let's get the wheel turned in the correct direction. We'll repeat procedure here, hang the rotor, spray it down, bolt it on. We'll finish it off with the caliper. CarQuest Platinum non-sponsored rotor coming in, spraying it down, getting rid of all the rust preventative lubricant, and I'm out of brake clean. I'll be back for that one later. Let's see here. Let's get our screws lined up. I think they go, yep, just like that. Beautiful. Set screw 1 and 2 coming in. Over here waking up a little bit. I guess that brake clean's had some kind of a psychological effect. Just kidding guys. I'm not buzzing off a brake clean. It's not a good idea. It'll break brain cells, make your head no longer function. It's not okay. I like a good functioning head. There. Pin 4. Super shiny. There we go. And I got my fingerprints as a bonus. All right. Now looky here. This one, I have installed the pads into the caliper before bolting it onto the knuckle. It's a loaded caliper. Comes loaded with pads. That way is not exactly preferable because it's kind of harder to do, but I felt like showing off. There we go. We'll push those in, get them seated flush against the rotor. There we go. Got it, good. 2 spreader springs coming in the holes they go. Go back. And let's go ahead and cut down our caliper. There you are. Snip. I'll set that down right there and get that piston compressed. Spin that guy in, flatten it out, make it small, nice and tiny, and ratchet it out. Okay, it's bottomed out. Pull the tool out, flip it, taking care to not put a twist in that brake hose because that would not be okay. And get this guy bolted back in. 2 12 mils, just like the other side. Top one, bottom one. Bottom one, click. Top. Unanimous, good to go. All right, guys, we're all set. Let me back this up. Let's throw our wheels back on real quick and then we'll get out of here and hit the road, go for a test drive, and burnish in these new pads. All right, good to go. Wheels are preliminarily bolted on. Let's let this thing down, get them torqued, jack it out, and we'll hit the road. Moving on up, lock release, coming down. Alrighty, let's get this here Honda fired up and backed out. But first, we must never forget to put the wheel lock key back in the cup holder. That way everybody knows exactly where it is. Starting's this super quiet Honda engine. Now, first thing we're gonna do here is pump this brake pedal up some. We need to close those pistons around the pads and the rotors. If we do not pump up the pedal, then as we're backing out and when we go to complete a stop, I'll push down the pedal and the pistons will start to come out, but they won't have any pressure on the pads and the vehicle will not have any brakes. That appears to be sufficient. Putting it in reverse, not moving off the pedal, we're moving, so we're good to go here. If you ever find yourself in a position where you have a runaway no brake event because you forgot to pump the pedal, just slap it in neutral or pull the parking brake. I know it's hard to think like that in that oh no situation, but quick thinking can lead to prevention of disasters. Honking for safety, backing up, backing out. See you. Let's go out and hit the road. We'll burnish these pads in and call it a day. Looking good left, looking good right. and away we go. Okay, here's our first stop, nice and smooth. I'm actually gonna try to avoid coming to a stop, which that's not gonna work. There's too much traffic. You wanna avoid stopping, well, you wanna avoid being stopped and then applying pressure to the rotor with the pads for as much as possible, because while burnishing, what we're gonna do is it's gonna wear away the microscopic peaks and valleys between, or that are on the rotor surface and that are on the pad surface. It's gonna wear those down, and the valleys on the rotor surface is gonna be filled with some pad material and vice versa. And that's gonna provide a nice mated surface between the two friction materials. And what can happen is if you come to a complete stop and then sit there, you can actually embed some of the material heavily in that one section, and it can cause vibrations later on down the road. All right, again, no one's behind us, checking the mirror. Looks like we're coming up to a stop, so I'm gonna apply some brake pedal pressure right here. And we're just gonna coast down the bridge. Very light pedal pressure. We'll do the same thing here at the light. Light pedal pressure. All the way down. Nice smooth stop. The road's pretty bumpy, but I can feel that the stop is smooth. You can feel rotor run out in the steering wheel while braking. Looks like we're good to go here. Did not come to a complete stop. This is good. And we'll just do a series of right turns till we get back to where we got to get to. All right, guys, well, I've got about 15 more minutes of driving around to do to burnish these pads in. This thing's all good to go. The front brakes feel good. Applying the parking brake. Rear brakes feel good. They're responsive. No vibrations, no noises out of the rears either, and this is also good. So all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and use this opportunity right now to close this video out. And I will do that, as always, by thanking each and every one of you for watching this video. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to let me know about that in the comment section down below. Drop that like button, tap that like button while you're down there, and most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of Honda, end of transmission, end of brake job, end of day, end of video.